Welcome guys to another 𝗙𝗎 Beer 30. We're here together with Darko and today we are talking about flame retardant clothing. But before we are jumping into the topic, I think Darko, you give us a little bit of background, what you did in your life before 𝗙𝗎
Oh, definitely. Glad to be here and glad to talk about the FR clothing. Well, my background is way back in 2001. I joined Slovenian military, the infantry unit, as a soldier. Advanced my career in the military through the ranks all the way up to the senior NCO. Been deployed 5 times in that time. Should say I was in the military for 19 years.
That's quite some time.
Yeah, it was fun times.
Yeah, can imagine.
Most of that time I was in one way or another in a infantry unit. I never left it. I did have, at the end of my career, I did have a couple of posts in the HQs as a S3 training NCO. Did quite a couple of courses with the U.S. military, very fun courses. Just to name a few, I did an airborne school, air assault school, light armor reconnaissance leaders course, and quite a lot of others. And after that, joined UF Pro team.
Great move.
Definitely is. Yeah. And now trying to pay it forward and get my knowledge across and try to tie those two things together.
We really enjoy that because you bring so much knowledge really from the field, from where it happens to us, and that we really benefit in, especially if you're looking at topics like FR. Then I think one of the most important thing is that what's really the FR requirement, because there is of course a huge difference between what a firefighter faces as a risk compared to an infantryman.
Definitely.
Of course, again, probably tankers, tank units, they have different requirements again. But as an infantryman, what is your perception of the risk related to fire?
Well, probably from the top, I gotta say that as an infantryman, I was never ever a fan of any FR clothing. Probably because back in the days when I was in the infantry as a fighting soldier or an NCO, technology did not advance that much, and we were wearing what we had was very hot, hard,
uncomfortable,
and weighing that to the risk that was out in the field. We definitely never took that option. There is a lot of risks, of course, for a soldier, especially referring back to the war on terrorism, where IEDs were a big thing, and also booby traps and stuff like that. So flashover was the biggest thing.
The main risk.
The main risk. Yeah. And even that, although we saw there's a ton of footage on YouTube or on the news and everything else, it was not, compared to how many movements were conducted in Afghanistan, it wasn't such a risk that we opted for FR, but actually we opted for no melt, no drip, usually, because at that point it presented more comfort and benefits were definitely a lot bigger than the risk involved.
I think that is a very important point. Before jumping into FR clothing, I think the important thing to understand is, of course, first of all, our role at UF Pro is not that we are telling people what they should wear.
Definitely.
Because the risk assessment has to be done by by the unit, by the trooper itself, by the organization. We can only provide a potential solution for facing a certain risk. But there is, of course, a lot of misconceptions in that field of FR.
Oh, definitely.
So one of my biggest concern is that our very important role is that we educate. So that we educate the soldier, that he knows how to use what we are offering. If he should use then no melt, no drip, or FR, or whatever, which is not taking any kind of FR-related protection into account. That's his thing. But we have to be very open and I think very thorough also to communicate what the real performance of FR or no melt, no drip really is. So that everyone makes his own assessment then and takes his own decision.
And definitely, and I can be the first probably to raise my hand and say that I, at the time, let's say deploying anywhere, I was definitely not comfortable with my degree of knowledge in terms of FR and everything, to be even able to assess that. And we just mostly, to be honest, went on a feeling. I mean, the other uniforms were more comfortable, especially in the heat. So we opted for the comfortable uniform. Because to be honest, being a gunner up in a Humvee turret for a couple of hours in an Afghanistan heat in the summer, I really didn't want the weight of the FR clothing bearing down on me, sweating all the time. Afghanistan is a very unique environment where you don't feel the thirst because there's a lot of dry. The heat is dry. There is no moisture, which it just means you dehydrate that much faster. And having at that time, that was 2011, having an FR clothing from that time, we didn't do it.
So comfort is definitely one of the key downsides of FR clothing, and I think everybody should be aware of that. On the other side, I think what is important to understand is that FR clothing will not make you fireproof. So that definitely has to be understood. So in order to protect you against fire, you have to wear a complete system, which is flame retardant. And that starts with the underwear and it ends with the outer layers that you're having. And then there is, of course, all the other things which are very important, like how do you prevent that hot gases are entering your lungs? You need to have theoretically breathing apparatuses. Look at firefighters. If they're going
they
into
always
the fire,
go with a mask.
They go with a mask. You have to, because there is toxic gases, there is hot air, everything which is bad for you internally is related there. So there is, if you really want to protect yourself against fire, real fire, you have to have full protection.
Yeah, definitely. If we're looking at this way, soldiers or law enforcement should be dressed up as firemen. But of course, that doesn't work. And
sure not.
Probably during this discussion, we'll always come back to the same thing: is weighing that, having your risk assessment done right. And flame retardant clothing definitely has its benefits in certain situations, especially if those FR systems, I'm not going to say systems, I'm going to say clothing, provides a little more comfort than you're expecting, because probably everybody's expecting like a thick Nomex thing.
I mean, because there is one thing which is, that is true for everything which which requires protection, a certain level of protection. I mean, there is one thing which it's the equipment that protects you, that provides you active protection. The other thing is that there is always a downside, and the downside is that this type of equipment, these systems, they always have a downside, which means that you're not so fast. Your awareness becomes limited. Movability is totally limited. So there is always this balance between what I would call active protection, and that is what your equipment provides, and on the other side, the passive protection, which is how you move, how you act, and what are you possible to do and to perceive in a dangerous situation. So you have to also balance these active and passive protection against each other. And sometimes, I mean, if I'm heavy like a turtle, or like slow like a turtle, or heavy like an elephant, then I cannot move, and I might run into a completely other risk.
Definitely. I mean, you can get into another risk assessment thing where you just became a hazard to yourself because you try to mitigate the certain risk too much.
Yeah.
And definitely, and here, like you said in the beginning, it's at the end of the day, it's all about getting the information out, and educating the end users so they know what they have to do and what are the benefits and the downsides to one other or the third thing. Because I was always baffled is when talking about materials, people that come from that field always talked about inherent FR material and the treated one, and I was always confused. What is that? What are one and the other? What are the differences? And
well, inherent, or usually you would call something inherent flame retardant if it is made of materials which don't burn. So fibers, the fiber in the case of clothing, fiber itself does not burn. There is Nomex, there is 𝗙𝗪, there is viscose-FR. There are different fibers which don't burn, theoretically. It's a matter of temperature and time. And then they might start to burn. So this is inherent. The other thing, the treated things, these are, you put some type of treatment on top of the fabric. And that can be chemicals, or that can be, but whatever. So, but what it means, whatever you put on the fabric can also be removed, be worn off, be washed off. So you with these treated textiles, you never know is it still flame retardant, or you never know. And then there are the ones in between. That is, for example, pyroshell. That is something where the fiber itself is not inherent flame retardant, but it incorporates, or there is something incorporated in the textile structure which is flame retardant. So with that incorporation, you make it flame retardant, and as it is incorporated and not on top, it's also permanent. So it doesn't wash off. So that's, and I guess the future will be totally different technologies where gases are released, but that's future music. So these are the basic differences. And then I think what is important to know, there is something which is called no melt, no drip. And a lot of
usually we don't understand what that means. Or most of the people just confuse it with FR.
It's an unfortunate term because it kind of signals it is a flame retardant light, which it is and it is not, because it's, in the end, it's also burning. It's just that it's burning much slower. So you might have a couple of seconds if there is just a small spark or a small flame which is burning on you. It's not really, I mean, flashing out within seconds. You might have 2-3 seconds to pad it off. But it doesn't help you at all if you are in a flashover situation. Then you're exposed to pretty high temperatures, and these pretty high temperatures are doing lots of damage to you. And realistically, people are not wearing flame retardant underwear.
Never.
So they're wearing their polyester boxers and the functional
whatever
underwear.
Makes you comfortable.
Absolutely, and those things, they melt. So with the no melt, no drip, which is the BDU, you haven't solved a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than the just usual stuff because it's not burning so fast. It might not be melting so quickly. But again, you have to look at the whole system that you're wearing, and the whole system does the job. And if in the whole system there is one component, especially the component which is very close to your skin, which is melting, then, you know, then we're coming to discussions which are starting to become a little bit ridiculous.
Definitely, and I agree. And I'm the culprit of this. Back in the day, like I said, I wore a no melt, no drip uniform. But to be honest, I never thought about anything about my underwear, my socks, even my gloves. I didn't care. And probably if we got into that kind of situation where there was an explosion with a pressure being involved, concussions, and me being in a flashover, it probably wouldn't turn out very good. Like I said, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Yeah. Somebody said, well, you're wearing a no melt, no drip uniform. That's great. Everything else. Nobody said about underwear. Nothing. Or sweat in that matter.
Yeah. Or, I mean, sweat is another thing. That's... But I think we should come to that. I would also then, at a later point, I would like to spend a couple of minutes talking about the testing that is conducted for flame retardant materials in clothing. But there is one thing that usually people forget, and that's your plate carrier, your nylon gear, all the pouches that you're having on your equipment. They're all burning like hell. So you might be having something which is protecting you against the flames, that direct threat of the flames, but then you have on yourself, you have a whole lot of stuff which is really burning.
Made out of nylon, which is
made out of nylon, and you're faced with 800, 900 degrees Celsius, which are just rolling over you and igniting whatever they find. So it's nasty scenarios, and I would always say it can be compared to a safety belt. A safety belt doesn't give you 100% guarantee that you can survive a crash when you're crashing your car against a wall and you are at a speed of 200 or 100 kilometers per hour. I mean, the safety belt might contribute a little bit to your protection, but it's not your guarantee to survive. So,
and again, we're coming back to that thing that we mentioned at first, is just identifying the risk, and is that risk that high that you need to have a certain type of clothing? Or can you mitigate it in any other different way? And just coming back to that.
So understanding you properly, then I think your main concern would be that we are focusing very much on making flame retardant clothing more comfortable. That would be a huge step ahead to help you in your risk assessment.
I would say definitely yes. I mean, if I had what we offer right now, if I had that at my disposal back in 2011, I would probably wear it. Because
it's already a step ahead.
Yeah, it's compared to what we had back then. that it's a quantum leap forward in terms of even comfort and breathability and lightness and everything. And yeah, definitely, I would wear it because my comfort wouldn't be compromised as much, and I would take that risk to wear it because of the heat and drink a little bit more water and salt tablets. And protect myself and have extra protection from the flashover in any case. But as I said, that if I had that option, I didn't. Now that option is available, and I know that's a huge issue with the FR clothing is at the end of the day, it's comfort, especially if we're talking about high heat and high humidity areas like I don't know, the Pacific Islands, Asia, Mali, there we go, or let's say the Mediterranean part of Europe, or Florida in the States.
I think the problem is especially big if you're on your own. So you don't have support vehicles which support you with water. What you mentioned before was quite interesting to hear, and that is dehydration. So, I mean, again, you have to balance how much water can I carry with me, a liter of water, which is nothing in an area like Afghanistan or Mali. You need lots of water. And whatever you take, I mean, the quantities of water, and on the other side, the ammunition that you're taking. And I mean, you have a limited amount of kilos which you can carry. And you have to make the decision then. Do I take another magazine or do I take another bottle of water?
Yeah, definitely. And that's always a hard one. I mean, it always paid for us to have a Humvee close because we just packed it with both of those things and the MREs. But that was an added benefit. But once you go out and go dismount, yeah, we had our backpacks, and it was always that question: what do I put in that backpack? Do I put more water, or do I put more ammunition? And there's not a magic wand again here. Usually, again, coming back to that risk assessment, there has to be a balance between that, and of course, taking into account that what you're wearing. Not only the uniforms, but as we talked about, once we get into the FR, you have to have the right system that works for you with the underwear and everything else. Now, do you want to go dismount and from your vehicle and walk 20, let's say 15 miles with that? It's probably not a good idea. Again, depends where you are. Maybe if you're in the Arctic, it makes sense.
For example, wearing long sleeve underwear in Mali.
Yeah, then kind of probably
that's getting really tough. Or long johns, and which is what you would have to wear in order to give you the thermal. That I mean, when we're talking about FR, we have a couple of risks. I mean, we mentioned already the hot and toxic gases, but then you have the flame which destroys your skin, and then you have the heat. And I mean, the inherent or treated or hybrid flame retardant textiles, they prevent you to get directly in contact with the flame. But then you need to have an insulator which protects you against the heat flux which is produced by the fire source, explosive, for example. So you have to have some kind of insulation. But that insulation is also going to be very warm if you are the 15 miles walking in a hot environment. In the Arctics, it wouldn't matter. But,
it wouldn't matter so much.
But in Mali and in Afghanistan, it really does matter. And realistically, people are not going to wear it.
No, they're not. I'm the first guy that knows that because I didn't wear it.
So here we come to that clash which you usually have in your organization. You have somebody in the organization who is responsible for safety. The safety officer, or however you call him. And he wants to be 100% safe.
110%, you mean?
But he's not the guy who has to do the 15 miles down there in Mali with 40 kilos on his back.
And usually that's where the issue arises when you start doing your risk assessment. Do you take that clothing or not?
Exactly. So he is really investigating what's the best protecting flame retardant system that he can put on you. And you see that, and you start laughing because you're not going to wear that.
Definitely, because it becomes a hindrance. Now, I've solved one problem, and let's say that's a fire hazard, but I've caused like 3 others that will not let me accomplish the mission.
Yeah.
And I was on the receiving side quite a lot of that. So, again, it comes down to the, let's say, the unit commander. Which will weigh the risk, even with water and ammunition. I think he weighs the risk. Guys take more ammunition, or guys leave a couple of magazines out, take some more water.
I also would like to talk a little bit about test standards, because in the conversations...
Those are very interesting,
In the conversations which I had, there were always the, guys are asking me, are your clothing according to ISO 16026 ABC and whatever, first category, second category, whatever. I mean, what we have to know is that the majority of standards are just testing a textile. They are testing materials, or they are testing a piece of a zipper. So they are testing components which would then be incorporated in a garment. They wouldn't, by themselves, they wouldn't tell you anything about how well they would protect you.
Of course, it's just talking about specifics of that piece.
So they burn, they ignite the textile, and then they have a couple of requirements, how fast the flame should extinguish, and which surface should be destroyed by the burning flame, which must not be burning longer than 1 second or whatever. These are standards which are all okay, but they don't tell you anything. Probably they're good for comparison between different, let's say, manufacturers of the same zipper. Right.
Or the same kind of zipper.
I can make a choice then. I can say, okay, this has a better test result than that. Okay, so I'm taking this. At the end, I think what is important is what's the level of burn injury that can be expected.
Because that's what the...
That's what
the FR should achieve.
You are interested.
That's what I need to know in the field, or the commander.
And therefore, for me, there is only one real test which is for me relevant, and that is what they're doing is they're putting a garment system which takes also underwear into consideration. They put it on a mannequin. The mannequin has heat sensors, and it measures the heat which the body will be exposed to, or which will be...
Well, that makes sense. They're simulating or trying to get as close as to real events as possible. That makes sense.
In the background, you have then a computer which is fed with real-life data, and it could then calculate what the level of burn injuries is and where these burn injuries might occur on your body, on the surface.
And that's useful information that at the end of the day that the user should have. Because like you said, what the fire retardant properties of a zipper are, I really don't care.
Exactly. You want to know what's the garment system able to protect me.
I mean, if I wear this, and this, I'm protected. What? For everything? Okay, good. That's what I want to know.
And there is just one downside with that test. As much as I support this test, the only downside, and I was in contact with the lab, and I was asking them if they are able to simulate that, and that is, how does the moisture buildup in your garment system influence the burn injury? Because it does. I mean, if you know that cooking systems where you use you're using
steam pressure,
steam pressure, exactly.
Okay.
Steam pressure. So actually, you are having moisture in your underwear, in the layers.
I see what you're getting. Yeah.
And then the heat is coming from the outside. So this moisture is starting to cook. It's starting to boil. So there is hot steam which is directly on your skin, and that does damage. But the level of damage, we cannot measure that in test methods. And that will be very important to know, because I think whenever you're outside in the field, you're sweating.
You're definitely sweating. If not sweating, you're looking for every chance for that little spare water to accidentally spill on you or anything. Yeah, being wet in a hot environment is always good.
Yeah,
for comfort.
Absolutely, it cools you down. Yeah, and nobody can predict you what the level of injury is that a certain system exposed to a certain, let's say, flashover situation will cause. They cannot measure that in the testing. So therefore I say, as good as the Thermoman, the test which I was describing before, it's called Thermoman, as good as this test is, but the limitation is really these steam-provoked injuries.
Which is probably, like we're talking now, it's not like a hindrance for the test, but it's just the user has to be aware when he's looking at a test report like this or something. He just has to know the limitations of this.
Absolutely.
And again, weigh those limitations.
Absolutely, great point. So even if you see, okay, well, I have 0% of first, second, third degree burn injuries, it's just a test result. So it's
at
just
the end of the day,
a test result that can be compared with another test result. It's a pretty realistic situation, pretty realistic simulation, but it doesn't take into account the steam-imposed injuries.
Definitely. Testing is always important, and the Thermoman, it's nice that they're trying to get as close to the real situations as.
It helps you in your risk assessment.
It definitely does. That's a crucial factor. I mean, weighing that's just another weight on your balance scale when you make a decision what to wear and what not to wear, just depending on the, like we talked about, climate conditions, mission threats out there, and everything that you have to do. And it is a very good benefit. But again, it's not be all, end all.
Yeah.
You have to take into account that there's other factors that will influence the FR properties of a certain system, even if a test result says 0%.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I would like to just mention, that is washing, ironing of FR clothing. I think there is not a big issue. Can be washed normally, like all other clothing, non-FR clothing.
But is that for all, regardless of which FR clothing are we talking about?
Well, I wouldn't put my hand into fire for the treated ones. I don't know their. I have no experience with treated fabrics, with FR treated fabrics, because I was never a fan of it, like described before. What is put on can be also
taken off.
So usually FR inherent and the hybrid ones like Pyroshell, they can be ironed. If you want to iron them, just to reactivate the water repellent treatment.
Okay, so it's encouraged to iron them.
Yeah.
They should iron them.
Well, you know, again, theoretically, yes, you definitely should iron your BDU. I never did it. Did you ever iron your BDU? No.
I was very happy when we got the BDUs that everybody said, no, you don't have to iron this one anymore.
Yeah.
Never did.
Well, the thing is that there is most of them have a water repellent and an oil repellent treatment on it, which might be interesting, especially when getting wet and there is not that much moisture absorbed, and we were talking about that before already. The treatment, that water repellent treatment can be reactivated because it usually washes off. So after, let's say, 10, 20 washing cycles, the water repellent treatment is not there anymore, realistically. Theoretically, with ironing, you reactivate the DWR, which was degraded during the washing process.
Okay.
So, but that doesn't mean that after 10 washing cycles you say, well, now I'm going to reactivate with ironing my DWR, my water repellent treatment. That doesn't work. You would have to iron it after each washing cycle.
Okay, there we go. See, so, back to that point of knowledge.
Yeah, so you have to, you wash it the first time, you have to iron it. You wash it the second time, you have to iron it.
But probably not on high heat.
No, you would do 1 point, 2 points. That's around 50, 60 degrees, 70 degrees. You could also put it in a tumble dryer.
Okay.
And if the tumble dryer reaches 60, 70 degrees, that should be also good enough. Might be more realistic than the ironing.
Yeah, definitely, because again, we got to support the lazy part of everybody, including me.
Absolutely, I'm here as well.
So the dryer, freaking awesome.
Would be also. That would be.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know
recommendation. But again, you have to do it after each washing cycle.
And that's probably important, because I would definitely go for the second option if you didn't say that, and do it after 10 times. I have to reactivate my...
Doesn't work. What is gone is gone.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and it's a very, very interesting theme. And
I think it's something which... everyone should really consider and should really. What we did here was just creating interest and kind of leading people into the topic. Then I think everybody should do his own research if it's a concern for him. So he should go into the topic.
Especially that safety officer.
Absolutely. And I think he should talk more often to the troopers.
I agree. I totally agree. Like we talked about this, just the lack of knowledge that I experience in this field when we're talking about FR, benefits, downsides, limitations, and everything else, and benefits, is now I see how much knowledge was I missing to make let's say a layman's terms decision on what to take. And definitely would encourage everybody, if you're in that field of law enforcement or military, or even everything else, security or everything else, if you kind of feel the need for that, FR protection, research it.
And make an educated assessment and make an educated decision.
Definitely, because again, the easiest way is to buy fireman's clothing, and you're going to be safe.
And have it in the locker.
And never wear it. But it is there.
So I really hope that for you guys, that we have created some interest, provided some information about this really, really burning issue, the FR clothing issue. I hope that we could, with this conversation, and Darko, thanks for that, for your input.
It was my pleasure.
That we could give you at least that much information that you are now more interested in our digging a little bit deeper into the issue. Okay, guys, so hope to see you again at one of our next UF Pro Beer 30s. I hope you enjoyed the discussion, and see you again.
Yeah, don't be afraid of knowledge, and see you again. Cheers.
Beer 30.
Good beer.
Excellent.
So there you have it. This concludes another episode of UF Pro's Beer 30 podcast. Want more information about UF Pro and tactical clothing for professional end users? Then please visit ufpro.com or follow our channels on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.